The original cast of Metal Gear is not returning for the remake, so that means no David Hayter? Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Carrie, but I go by Cypress online. So I have a few personal updates to do, but I wanted to just go ahead and say my thoughts on Metal Gear and the re-release or the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, because I know that's what I'm going to title this, I think. So I just want to go ahead for those who are not interested in who I am, but they just want to kind of hear about that. So there has been a clickbait article that said the original cast of Metal Gear is not returning for the remake. So that means no David Hayter? No, that's not what they're saying. Because it's a remake, the developers, the director, the producer, I'm not sure who said it was. Sorry, I don't have the article right in front of me. But the people who are creating it and making it have said that they are not changing the storyline at all. So they're not changing the plot. They're not changing any of the dialogue. So they're just going to repurpose the original game's audio into their remake. So it's not so much like a remake like how Final Fantasy VII was, where they actually kind of came out with like there's new plot storylines and they're like retconning some stuff. That's not what this is going to be. It's basically just a hashing out a new shell of it, you know, where they did port it from the original one, because actually I have that collection I was thinking of right before this was announced. I was like, I'm going to replay and I'm going to record it because I said I love Metal Gear, but none of it is on my gaming channel. So I said, screw the algorithm. Let me just play the games I love. So I was going to go back and just replay the entire collection, but I was going to replay the ones on PlayStation 4 because, to be honest, that's the best one that I have with the Elgato, so it's easiest to record those because I have the old systems. I have all of the old systems, actually, but it's harder to record it and put it on YouTube because you need different stuff or whatever. Anyway, so all that to say, to go back to the main thing, they are still using the main cast. So yay, right? Awesome. Okay, we get David Hayter back, you know, like we have Snake's voice. However, because you know there's got to be a but to this, as a voice actor, I'm a little bit concerned because now the representative for David Hayter has not responded to the person who wrote this article. However, I think it was the actor for Ocelot said they responded and said Konami has not reached out about this game at all to them. So what does this mean? This means that they're not getting paid for the use of their original audio. I believe, because I've talked about this before, so I've looked into it before, there are no residuals on video games. So when you think of like, okay, yeah, like The Simpsons or something, I know Rob Paulson had said, you know, the Animaniacs, like he would just get a check in the mail that, oh, they ran an episode, so he got residuals. That doesn't happen with video games. So right now, union standard is $250 an hour for a 2-hour minimum session. So that means they book your time for the hours that you record the voice, and that's all that they pay for. They don't pay like, so for example, if E.T., right? You remember the E.T., the game, it was so bad they like threw it and they dumped it or whatever. I don't think that one had voiceover because that was like in the 80s. But let's say they did, right? The voice of E.T. He got paid the same as if it was the best #1 seller or if no one literally bought it, so they had to throw it out. It was so bad. The actor got paid the same. And again, that's hypothetical because I know that one didn't have voiceover in it, but that just kind of like outlines what I'm talking about, right? So David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake, he got paid back in, and I was going to do a deep dive on everything. I forgot when it first came out. But he got paid, you know, back in the whatevers when Snake Eater first came out. That game first came out. He got paid for his, wow, that's a long game. So it definitely took more than 2 hours to record. Let's just say 40 hours, you know, he got paid like $10,000, whatever, for that game. That's all he got. It doesn't matter if you bought every single, like me, I bought it, like I have it on every system, even if I've not played it on that system. I even bought those stupid Metal Gear Acid games on the PSP. I hated those because those are card games. I don't play card games like that, like where you have to have a 2 in order to move 2 steps. I hate that kind of puzzle. But I bought the game because it had Metal Gear on it. So for people like me, I'm supporting Konami and I was supporting Hideo Kojima, but it wasn't doing anything for example, David, because he got paid for his time and the usage fee, that was all plugged into it, okay? But if you think about how commercials are run, right? And this is also why when you hear a talent talk about in perpetuity and how that's not fair, right? This is a perfect example. I recorded a commercial. This is hypothetical. I recorded a commercial for t-shirt makers, right? And they said, hey, they're going to run it nationally for 3 months. For 3 months, they're going to use my voice in their commercial nationally. And I'm in America. So that means all over America, they're going to hear my commercial for t-shirts, right? And they paid me X amount of dollars. Again, this is all hypothetical. This did not happen. But let's say they paid me $100. That is really below standard, but this is just a sample because I'm really bad with numbers, so I like to keep it nice and small. $100 for that national commercial for 3 months. If they then went to extend it for another 3 months, they have to pay me another $100 for that, or it'll be $75 for it. If it was $25 for my actual time in the studio and $75 for the usage fee, then if they go outside of that usage fee, outside of that 3 months, they have to pay that usage fee again. So that's another $75. Me as the talent never had to record anything else because they're using that same commercial that I did, but now they're paying for that time, that usage, that agreement. In perpetuity erases that. That means you recorded it for $25 and that's all you're ever going to see. Even if we run it every day globally for 5 years, you only got $25. Okay. And the usage is also important, like I said, globally, regionally, nationally. Those all factor in and calculate. And that's why I'm really bad with the maths. And that's why I just stick with little tiny numbers like $100 because I don't want to factor in all that stuff. So again, David Hayter got paid $100 for the original Snake Eater. But that was in that agreement. So now you have to look at that contract. Did they say in perpetuity in that contract? I kind of think that they probably did because they're a big enough company to know that they'd have to reach out. So that means, unfortunately, they're making this whole other new game that you know is going to sell that even though I know this and I want to support my fellow actor, I'm still going to buy it. I'm sorry. I'm a slut for Metal Gear. What can I say? David's not going to see any of that money. None of the others are. And I'm sorry, I don't know their names, but none of the other actors are going to be paid for their what they provided. And that's not fair when you're looking at it as a product, right? Like that talent brought those voices to that production. It's just it's different when they reskinned it, right? When it's just when they say, hey, we're porting it from the PlayStation 2 to the PlayStation 4. Same game, they just like update either the graphics. Sometimes the graphics aren't even updated on some of these ports. And it's just so that you can literally play the game because of backwards compatibility issues, all that kind of stuff, right? That makes sense because it's the same thing. And it's just like, hey, now we're releasing it for this. Or if they had exclusivity, it was only on PlayStation, now they're moving it to Xbox. That makes sense. None of the voice actors have anything to do with that. But they're creating a new product. They're saying that they're redoing things and they're actually like recreating it in a different, I don't know if it's the Unreal Engine or what they're doing, but they're like recreating it. They're just copying their predecessor's homework and using that audio. And that's where I have a problem with it. Again, I don't know what was in their contract. Looking back, I don't even know if I signed a contract for what I did with Smite. So that's just something that I would like to see a little bit more unfold. I've not heard too much, and believe me, I'm in those spaces. I've not really heard too much about the development of the game. But maybe after that was published, they've reached out or anything. Cause I know I would, if someone was like, hey, were you contacted by these people? And I'm like, no, I would totally then go to my agent and be like, hey, why wasn't I contacted by the people? Can we check that contract? Because if they have the in perpetuity in any, they write it so scary. They're like within the outside of the universe, even this is like in the universe, for all time, no matter what thing, other, whatever technologies, either already known or not even known, but will come out in the future. That like in perpetuity, like that's literally they're saying, hey, we're buying this from you for, this. It's not a one-time use. We can use it literally for anything. Technically now, those things they can use your audio to make an AI voice. Yes, they can, because of the legalities of what it said. To the technologies, hereupon known or forever after. I'll write it here if I can find it again. And so that means AI technology didn't exist back in the 80s, but hey, it sure as hell does now. And you recorded 3 hours of game dialogue, and we said we can own that voice, so we own that dialogue. So now we can put that into the program, and now we have an AI voice that sounds exactly like you, and we didn't have to pay you a cent, and it's completely legal because our laws and stuff just have not been updated with the rise in technology. Say what you will about Shane Dawson, but his latest conspiracy video does make a great point that this AI stuff has happened overnight. It's crazy, and I won't get on that. But this is a great transition because of what I've put out previously about AI stuff. I actually was contacted by a voiceover bootcamp group. So I am going to be interviewed later this month. If they will still want me, I don't know if they change their mind. There is a date for it, but I'm not going to say anything just in case it doesn't happen. But that's exciting. I was like, are you sure you want to talk to me? Because I've seen some of their other guests and they're like super successful. And then there's little old me. But so now I just feel like I'm the guru for AI. So I'm just like doing all of my homework on it, but that'll be fun. If that does come to fruition and it comes out, I will let you guys know if you do want to hear me make a fool out of myself, because I will. I don't interview well, unfortunately. You'd think I would, but I just get so tongue-tied and I get so laughy, and it's absolutely horrible. Anyway, so and that also kind of goes into I've been busy. So I have been working with Corey Disson, who is a wonderful brand manager, sort of a coach. He's more of a coach, most definitely, because he's really teaching me some stuff that I always knew from a marketing perspective, but I never knew how to implement it as a voice talent specifically. And he really knows how to explain that in actionable actions, where it's actually like, hey, do this because of this. Well, yes, I know that part, but how do I do that? He's giving me the how. So I kind of already knew the why. He re-explains it just in case, which I love. Don't ever assume people know anything when you're teaching things. And then he also gives the how. And so it's been going really well. I have been networking my tuchus off. I have been meeting a lot of people. I actually had a virtual coffee this morning with a wonderful woman who has the patience of a goddess, because again, girl gets a little bit weird when she gets nervous. So, but yeah, so that's been fun, but that has also been putting me off. I know I said I was going to return in June, and I had it on my calendar. I had what I was going to do for a video coming out this Friday, which is when this video is coming out. But unfortunately, I wanted to do a little bit more research on it. I wanted it to be opinion pieces, but with like science-based evidence to back it up. And that sounds like it's a big serious thing. It's not, but, I just did not have the time for it because I am actually so excited. I am releasing right now. I'm still finalizing. I am releasing a book. So I did not write this book. It is actually a book of fairy tales, but I am compiling them all, and it's 100 fairy tales, and 100 is a lot, let me tell you, when you have to transcribe or copy and paste, and of course, all of it are in the public domain. But I actually did have a few of them either I wrote or compiled. I actually did commission one story that was used in my podcast. So because what I did is I realized I narrated 100 fairy tales, and some of them I couldn't use in this book. So I then read some new ones just for this book. So if you listened to my podcast, Reading with Carrie, you'll get 85, 90 of the stories that are in this book. But some of them were written specifically for this book, and then some of them I obviously I found, so they're public domain old stories that I then read that are not on my podcast. And so anyway, so I'm compiling them. I have a cute little prologue which I love that I did write, and I'm not the best writer, but my heart's in it, and you can definitely, I think you can tell that my heart is in it, and it's been so fun. I am so proud of it because it just it's a physical proof of what I've done, but it's a lot of work because I'm like that. I'm taking it seriously. So I'm putting together, again, it's 100 stories. So it's a very long book because of the stories. And the stories themselves are, in public domain, but I have to create cover art and stuff like that. And yes, I know it's going to be a little bit hypocritical of me. What I'm doing is I'm using Canva, and I am compiling because I'm not good as an illustrator. I'm not good with graphic design. So I'm finding real pictures and I'm putting them, I'm doing like a collage of them. So for example, the cover is a girl with like a yellow umbrella and she's walking in this sort of like a forest trail. So I got, it's like a picture of a forest, and then I got a picture of a girl. Like I put the pieces in there. So I know I didn't draw them. They're real pictures, but I got them through Canva. So because I'm paying for that subscription, I have the right, I can use these pictures. And then I am running it in it's called like befunky.com or something. They have a filter that makes it look like it was drawn. So it's sort of it's not AI. I didn't type in AI, hey, can you make this picture for me? I physically made the picture with products and stuff that have pre-existed AI, but I would have much preferred hired someone to actually do these. However, I am running on my personal budget, so therefore I have to do it as low $0 as possible. But anyway, so I'm like, is that considered AI? But because I already have like the physical image and they're just making it look a little different, I'm walking that line. I know it's difficult with that AI stuff. I'm trying to be strong, but there are some parts that it is more convenient. But that goes back to my previous argument in the other video that you might have seen of me talking about AI, where I don't have the money to hire an artist to do it. So either I use these tools to do it, or I draw it by hand and these pictures are just going to look like doodles, right? Those are my options. I don't have the option to pay someone else. So an artist is not losing that money because of an AI. I was never going to hire an artist to do this. Maybe if I sell any of the books and get enough money, then I will use all the proceeds to update the book and do the cover, and all of the pictures. But until then, it's all me. So if you want to support me, I would really appreciate you considering either getting the audiobook or the actual book. It's not out yet. I will certainly release a video when it is out. But that is what is taking up a lot of my free time, is getting all of that set. And I'm still, like I said, I'm still working on it. But yeah, so there are just some things that have priority. And so I do want to release weekly videos. I'm also kind of waiting to talk to my coach about season 2 of Name That Voice. I do want it to come back. I just want it to be super strong. And so that's why I'm holding off on it. I just want to make sure that I'm doing the best so that you guys get the best content, because I don't want to release something that is just missing the mark. So it's not successful in terms of entertainment, and then it's also not return on investment. I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for engagement, So I just want to make sure that people enjoy what I put out there. Otherwise, why am I putting it out there, right? Obviously, yes, sometimes artists make art just for themselves, but a lot of times artists make art to show other people. So that's where I am with all of that. I think I rambled far enough or long enough, but I just wanted to make sure that I sat down and kind of filled you guys in. I will also be pushing to get more gaming stuff on the gaming channel because I do adore that channel as well. And then also, just as a really side note or whatever, I am in the process of changing my hair color. You can see that it's fading out. I did that intentionally. I'm using a clarifying shampoo as directed. Then I might actually do a bleach bath. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And then I'm going to dye my hair. It's still going to be in the purple family, but it's going to be much more subtle. And I think it's going to be a happy medium because I used to have crimson hair and I loved it. I really love how the purple looks with my complexion. But keeping up with it, I am using fashion color, fashion color, I think is what it's called. So it doesn't cover my roots. And so, I like to kind of save money where I can, and so I don't want to spend $400 every 8 weeks on hair anymore, so I'm going to switch to something a little bit more easier to maintain. And despite what I may look like, I don't actually like being called out when I'm going food shopping because I have hair color. Like, I like being the center of attention sometimes, but I don't have to be center of attention all the time. You know what I mean? So anyway, I think I have officially filled you guys in. So I am still around. I do want to return for the month of June. I only took off May because I was gone for so long, and I'm so glad that I did because I did not have time. So I should start having a little bit more time. But again, I'm trying to finish some of these other projects that are close to being finished, just needs a couple more hours. And I'm still, pushing hard to, grow my business and kind of see where I'm falling with what my career looks like. That will be a video shortly too, I am sure, but I'm holding off on that just now. And so I will be back with more fun content or news content or whatever. But this was just kind of I'm still here, but I'm not going to be back for one video a week yet. I do want to fall into that. That is my main long-term goal. But for now, I'm just going to try to pop in as much as I can. You are seeing me do a week or daily challenge of the positive affirmations for all of the month of June. That was it was advice that my coach gave me that I took and ran with. He said, hey, try posting like once a week. And I was like, how about every day? It's just, that's how it fits. That's how it fits. So it's there's more to that story, but that was just basically where that lands. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Remember, you are loved, you are worthy, and whatever you are struggling with today will pass. Until next time, stay crazy.